Mabuhay, kapatids! My name is Stephanie.
And my name is Aimee, and welcome to the Babaylan Book Club podcast.
We have come together in efforts to decolonize our minds, our bodies, and reconnect with spirit by ways of relation via conversation, of education, interpretation, and integration.
So, this is our invitation for you to join us on our journey as we discuss works from honored artists, authors, and thought leaders from the Filipinx diaspora. Quick disclaimer: we want to acknowledge that everyone is consciously where they need to be.
And we are not experts, but we are sharing our own unique lived experiences. Hi, everybody. Hi, Sissy.
Hi, Sissy Sis. Welcome back to another episode
of the Babaylan Book Club
podcast.
Ba-dum-bum. We have to make a jingle one time.
We do. Who wants to make a jingle out there for us? We're calling it in.
But you're musically talented, so.
I know, but I don't know.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Thank
Divine timing.
Divine
timing.
Yes. So.
All right. So as always, before we begin, we want to take a moment to ground, taking a pause and drop into our bodies and become fully present in this space. If it's safe for you, we invite you to close your eyes, straighten your spine, and direct your focus onto your breath. Take a few deep inhales, extending your belly out. And exhales, just bringing your belly in. We can do it one more time together. Connect back into your body, into this moment. Don't worry about tomorrow. I invite you to not think about yesterday. Just be here. And as we begin our conversation, we'd like to thank Bathala, God, Source, for another beautiful day in this gathering. In gratitude, we acknowledge our benevolent ancestors and invite them into this conversation today. Much respect to the ancestors of the lands Aimee and I reside on. For me, that's the Bay-Miwok, Yokuts tribes. And for Aimee, that's the Shawnee, Miami, Hopewell, and Adena people in Ohio, California. We also acknowledge and invite in our own guides and your own guides to be with us and support us and guide this conversation. And we pray that they guide and support you too. And we want to acknowledge you, Kapwa, and your presence and your energy, and no matter wherever and whenever you're tuning in.
Thanks, sis.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, you know the drill. We're going to do the 90-second decolonizing heart check. Then we'll go into the Brown Girl Cliff Notes. And then we'll get into some quotes. Vocab words, quotes, and quotes. Alrighty?
Alrighty. You first?
Sure. I can go first.
Okay, I got my timer set.
Time me.
Whenever you're ready. Okay.
Okay.
And go.
Okay, so what I've been decolonizing lately, and you know, with decolonization, it's always like a process. Like everything is cyclical. There's cycles. You come back around to it. There's different levels, right? So one of the things that I've been thinking about lately is like my relationship to the land, like specifically here in Hopewell and Dena ancestral territory, and just the fact that, you know, I always like hated Ohio because I'm like, there's so many white people here. There's so many white people here in Ohio. And then while that's true, just to realize that the indigenous people more look like me than they did the majority of the people who live here. For some reason, that makes me feel more connected to the land. And lately I've been looking at just the landscape and I'm like, man, it's beautiful here. Like my ancestors aren't from here. And, you know, this isn't the landscape that I grew up around, but I'm like, it is beautiful. Even winter is beautiful here. So that's one of the things that I return to every now and again, but for some reason it's coming up lately. So
Connect back to the land.
yes.
What ways do you connect?
I go hiking. There you go.
Yay!
Walk the land.
Walk the land.
Yes.
There was an article. Was it like Santa Barbara? I don't even know if it's California, but some people got the land back.
Oh, who got their land back? Hashtag land back.
They're basically going to be the advisors of how to manage the land back to of course, it's going to be like still city ordinated government.
Yeah, but that's like that's a cool step. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm wondering, like, when are we going to let the indigenous people manage these California wildfires? Because they're literally wilding. And so whatever the government's doing, it's not enough. So we need to listen to the people.
Right.
And okay, I know I have to go into my part, but part of the conversation I'm noticing around not only acknowledging the land you live on, but also what are you doing to give back to the land? So
yeah, that's my okay. Yeah, that's another cycle that I get to come back around to, you know, because honestly, like all of the indigenous people that used to live here, they pushed them west on the Trail of Tears. So you don't really see representation of them around here a lot, you know. There's not like big reservations, meaning because all of the indigenous people like the Shawnee Nation is technically out in Oklahoma right now, but their ancestral meeting lands used to be over here. So crazy. Okay. We know how to talk.
we do. Gift of gab. Thanks for
okay, you ready, sis?
Yes.
And go.
Okay. I'm decolonizing. What has come up for me recently. I don't want to talk about hiking because you did, but
you can. That's fine. We didn't talk about this. It's Bruja stuff. Rock, paper, scissors.
It's like attention span things. Like I'm part of a energy medicine community. Shout out to New Earth Mystery School. Shameless plug. And we did an attunement, and I was like, wow, it's really challenging for me to stay focused for a certain amount of time. And I reflect on like my job because I work at a call center and a lot of things are timed. So lately, but what is time? Right? So I'm literally I'm like going in that back and forth of like what's the colonizing concept of time, but also how it does play very much a role in what I do in this 3D reality matrix realm. And then also when I'm in nature, it just feels very free flowing. Yeah. But I noticed like the next day I was like, I did something more on the masculine. I worked out and I was like, wow, like I feel like amazing. But it was like because I got to deal with both energies in a 24-hour span, like really focused. But anyways, time. I was just like, and time. See? And we're timing each other.
I know. That's why I was like, oh, snap. She's talking about everything being timed. And here we are. I'm like, come on, let's go.
The irony, right?
Yes.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Because if y'all, still hanging with us, like some were saying that the podcast, we could talk. I mean, when the streams of consciousness just flow, it flows, right? That's the feminine. Yeah. But then the masculines are like, what's next? What's next? We got to do this, do that, So yeah. I think setting a timer is our way of being balanced.
Okay, but here, like, this is just a thought that came to me. Do they ever tell men with podcasts that they're talking too long?
Do they? Oh, like a woman splaining shaming thing, but
Yeah,
man splaining.
like all these men with podcasts, do they worry about talking too long?
I'm gonna give you some tea. I'm gonna give y'all some hot take.
What?
I was dating this man once, and they released a 3-hour podcast.
See?
And I remember texting like, there are like 2 of them, right? And I was texting the wife, and I was like, did they just really release like a 3-hour podcast? Like everything else is like 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour. Then it's like 3 hours. And I was like, the male audacity.
Right?
To think that people really go listen to 3 hours. Like, so.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, anyway, but I do feel like it's a good challenge to kind of learn how to be succinct. So
Yeah. Both
and
with that said,
Brown Girl Cliff Notes.
Bum, 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 bum.
Okay. All right. So this chapter is called Filipino Tattoos, Pigment as Spirit, written by Lane Wilcken. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about tattoos today. And if you've been around the Filipinx diaspora, decolonization online community, you've probably heard about Lane Wilcken, or Manong Lane, as some people call him. So this is from his bio on his website. Lane is an artisan of ancient technology and art. He is widely recognized by the Filipino American community as a mambabatok, cultural tattoo practitioner, only using ancient hand tap tattoo techniques. He makes all his own tools, many of which are now extinct in the Philippines. Lane's practice is spiritual and includes meditation and prayer before composing batok, or tattoo arrangements, according to the designs and symbols of a person's specific ethnic group and their personal experience. The actual application of the batok is done as ritual with chants, food offerings, and prayers as part of the process. So in this chapter, Manong Lane goes into the details of some of the symbolism in pre-colonial Philippine tattoos, as well as the tattoo stigmas of modern Western society versus the deep spiritual meaning of our own ancestral markings. So when the first Spanish explorers arrived in our islands with Ferdinand Magellan in 1521, they originally called the archipelago Las Islas de los Pintados, which means the islands of the painted ones, because of the abundance of tattooing they saw.
Yes.
Manong Lane goes on to explain that in the Western context, the individual is the one who decides when they will be tattooed and what is tattooed on them. I'm sure a lot of us have done that, right? In the ancient Austronesian cultures, and Austronesian cultures includes the islands of Indonesia, the Philippines, Micronesia, Melanesia, Polynesia, Madagascar, and Taiwan. Did you know that Taiwan? The perspective towards tattooing was very different. Rather than a symbol of individuality, exclusion, or separation, tattooing in ancient Austronesian cultures was a symbol of conformity to cultural expectations, spiritual beliefs, and communal responsibility. The recipient does not decide when they will be tattooed or what will be tattooed upon them. The choices are prerogative of the community and the tattoo practitioner, not the individual. So there were different tattoo prerequisites for men and women. So men had to earn their tattoos through requisite bravery, character, and knowledge. As this man went through life, each time he saw his tattoos, he was reminded to conduct himself in accordance with the prestige he had earned. A man so tattooed was considered to be of the highest character, strong, brave, a servant of the community, and most importantly, blessed with awareness and guidance from the spiritual world. Women, on the other hand, unlike the societies of the Asian mainland, so like China, etc., the women of the Philippines were not necessarily considered subordinate or subservient to men. Just so y'all know, ancestrally, that's in our blood. Okay. The roles between genders were different, but not considered more important than the other. Women were perceived as powerful and inherently spiritual. They were joint creators of life with the gods.
Come on.
Therefore, they were entitled to their tattoos at puberty. A woman's tattoos were consequently a visual confirmation of the strength, procreative power, and spiritual receptivity she brought with her into the world.
Tell him.
They also signified fertility and the bravery and strength needed to endure giving birth.
Yeah. Shit.
So that is the Brown Girl Cliff Notes.
Thank you, sis. That was a whole gospel. So men earn, women are entitled. Just so y'all, if you missed it the first time.
Yes.
This is part of the decolonizing, which surprised me, you know.
What surprised you?
That women were entitled. Like, and I was like, how does this flip? Where did we get here? How? You know?
Patriarchy, colonization. That's how. That's how.
True. And it made me kind of check in with the tats I have. Like, am I really, you know, I mean, but I was like, no, the tats you chose were guided to you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because I feel like if you are of the spiritual persuasion as you and I, like there's a lot of symbolism in the markings of the tattoos, right?
Totally. I put a lot of thought, especially my first one. My first one's here.
Yes, let's see the tattoos. What does it say?
It's Mahatma Gandhi's quote, "You must be the change you wish to see in the world," and it's in Latin. So quam videre, yes, mutatio. Y'all get it. My friend did it, and that took me a long time to really look it up because I wanted to address, like, you know, the changes we see in the world, and then Latin was like a root language, and I was like, problems get solved at the root.
Yes.
Returning back to the root. That was my very first one. But yeah, since then they've always been like life markers. So I gone and you know, no disrespect to people who just go and get one. You know, I'm like, dang, that's really spontaneous. But for me, I'm like, this has to mean something for me to remember because it's on my body.
Right.
This is my latest one, but
let me see. Like, are there any that you care, that you feel comfortable sharing here on the YouTubes for the people?
I mean, there's on my leg and my shoulder and my thigh. And
what's this one say? What's that one say?
This is kalayaan, which means freedom.
Yes.
It's in my first and last one. What's your first and last one, sis?
Oh, I can't show that one.
Oh, that did pause.
Okay, yeah. I got you know, because it was the early 2000s. Everyone was getting like tattoos on their lower back. So mine isn't like a lower back tattoo necessarily, but it's because it's not like symmetrical. That I showed sis off recording, but it's like an art piece. There's like
it's beautiful.
A lot of movement. There's like, there's some paguitas in it.
Flowers and water.
Like water and music, and I have my middle name in there. So yeah, that's that one. And then I have this one. I got matching tattoos with my best friend Erin. So this is like a star.
Oh.
Yeah, when we first connected with each other in this lifetime. We would get
Mm.
together almost every week, and we would like talk. Look at this light code trying to come in. It's also trying to like come inside my eye, so I'm trying to like move. But so there was a star, there was a moon and a star in the sky. Well, it wasn't a star, I think it was a planet, but anyway, it looked like the star. So we got matching tattoos. And then this one says heart, soul, mind, and strength. And this was when I was a church gal. And it's from that verse, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And so now I'm not sure how I feel about it, but it meant something to me at the time. So so there it is. You know?
So there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll share the rest of them. I have there's hope on my back. I don't think you could I have all this layers, but it says there's hope and has a purple ribbon for lupus awareness.
Okay, yes.
So it's like on the parallel other side. I was for a while trying to figure out how to connect it, but in divine timing, if needed. And then I'm gonna stand up with my.
Ooh.
I'm gonna.
We're gonna stand
the
up.
YouTube's a little bit. This is my thigh.
Oh yes.
So it's on my
Let's
right
see
thigh.
your thigh. All right.
This is a 3-piece thing. This was like, I got this in Oahu. I was just thinking about placement at the time, and that was an interesting relationship. And then this one was a change of direction. So I came back, and it was a heartbreak. So, and then this one is latest one, the snake one, like an infinity. And I still want to finish it in divine timing.
What is it? What do you want to finish it with? It's gonna go up your hip.
My soul is saying that, and I hate that I'm saying this because it's like fat shaming politics, but like I want to drop a little bit on the side but maybe I should, because I think that that's like a great way to reduce the pain, right? But I want to have like a sword, like it looks like I'm having like I pull a sword out on my thigh, so it'll go up here.
Yes.
Oh, and then my last one, this is when my friend finishing his apprenticeship. He actually does tribal tats now. So it's supposed to be me, and there's flowers coming out of my head, out of my crown, and then a little mandala is a combination. Omnism, I consider myself an omnist. I believe that there's truth in all religions, so kind of combines in. There is a centipede in there.
Oh yeah.
But I was getting this. I got 2 of these tats when I was heartbroken AF, and I get why people get tats when they're in pain, because it is a little bit cathartic, and definitely eased the physical pain I was feeling.
Yeah,
because I was like taking the pain onto that. So
what did your mom say?
Oh my God, I didn't know you were gonna ask that.
What did your nanai say?
That was part of the I should have shared earlier with the decolonizing. But yeah, she was like, "Huh, another one." So there's that.
That's not too bad.
Well, when I was in Hawaii was it this year? Oh
yeah,
God, last year.
They
saw the snake on my leg, and then they were like, "When did you get that?" And I was like, you know. And then I was like, "Well, the snake is a truth teller." So
you're like, "What? This old thing? I've had that for a while. You just must have not noticed it."
Right? I was like, I felt like a child. Like,
I know.
But I know we'll dive into it more. But it does appall me. Pintados too. Like, that's like how deep it runs in the family, that it's like impure to have tattoos on your skin.
Right. When that was what we did, that's who we are.
Right.
Ancestrally. So
those are tat stories.
Yeah. So share yours in the comments.
Yeah.
And this is, again, if you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, thank you for listening. Please leave us a great review. But also, we have good visuals. You're missing out on Sis's tattoo and my tattoos and et cetera, et cetera. So come come to the YouTubes.
Also on bad hair days, and I gotta rep the Bay, you know.
Sports. Go sports.
He is not, she goes to go sports.
Yeah.
You know, the All Stars is actually going to be in Ohio this year, Cleveland.
Okay.
She's like,
I have no idea. That's
so
great.
Don't go to Cleveland like February. It's going all the hotel pricings is going to be expensive.
You mean for okay? Wait. Hold on. Football, right? Are you talking about football?
No, basketball.
Okay. See, I don't even know. I don't even know.
I'm honestly having a bad hair day, and they're playing today. So, and I'm wearing my grandma's chain because it's her birthday. Hi, Mama. Love you. I miss her.
Yeah. So
come on the visuals.
Find the visuals.
Come on YouTube.
Come on YouTubes, huh? Okay. Let's jump into vocabulary words, shall we?
We shall.
I'll go first.
Yes.
Okay. So page 97. Manong Lane gives a shout out to the Babaylan. So we already know what the Babaylan are, obviously. We've had a whole season about it. But he talks about another variation of the title, which is Baglan in Ilocano. So Baglan, Baglan. So which were also women. But they interpreted omens and dreams, divined the outcomes of events, and communicated with members of the spirit world. Here we go. Ready? This is what caught me. In some places, the Babaylan even led the men to battle and ceremonially threw the first spear. Listen,
I knew it.
I knew it too.
Oh, hell yeah. On that thing too.
I knew it. But like, okay, so y'all know that I do Kali, and like I teach sacred Kali, which is like Kali as a spiritual practice, right?
When's your next container too?
It starts in February 16. So I don't know if y'all will hear this.
Still time. Shameless plug. I'm sorry, sis, I cut you off. Okay.
You can go to my Instagram profile and see all that.
Yes.
But so yeah, like I knew that there was the Babaylan was, I was like, there has to be Babaylan that's a warrior, right? I just like felt it in here. But we, even in the past book that we read, like we talked about Urduha, but she wasn't necessarily a Babaylan. All of those were like Babaylan archetypes, right, from the Babaylan book. But for Manong Lane to cite sources and be like, yeah, actually some of the Babaylan went into battle. And if you're gonna lead the men to battle, you have to be a warrior. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know how to use the weapons and to ceremonially throw the first spear. What? I was like,
I my Poly 6 right here.
Yes.
This is in the life, like the patriarchy. Women first.
Oh my God. I was like, yes. Okay. I knew it. Literally my soul knew it. And when I read that, like I literally felt like a peace and also a victory inside of my body, like my actual physical body.
You're like validation. Yeah. Finally. Proof.
Yes. Hell yeah.
Thank you for talk 2009. Who's that? But citation is there.
Yes. So that is my word, my vocabulary word, Babaylan or Baglan in Ilocano.
That'd be dope, sis, to just be wearing your Baglan shirt and just throw a spear.
Listen,
I sense a commercial. Like,
I love you. Your creative mind.
You know, if I had time, because what is time? I'd totally just be like, let's make this. Anyways, it could still happen.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're on this wave. Oh, sorry. Do you feel complete?
I do. Thank you.
Okay.
I am complete.
we're on this wave of women power,
Let's go.
And my word is on page 99.
Ooh.
And we were talking about this prior to hit record, but Linlingao, it's LIN-LINGAO. Linlingao. And so they said that Linlingao, actually, did it appear firstly on that page, first of all?
Yeah, on page 99.
So it's a form of tattoo in the Kalinga women. So some of y'all may or may not have heard of Apo Wang Od of Buskalan Kalina. She is one of the last traditional tattoo practitioners in Kalinga and Luzon. Sis, you read my mind. I was about to show the picture. Yes, that's her. And so these tattoos marked them as marriageable women. So they're also used to confuse the malicious spirits of vengeful or beheaded or killed individuals called alam alam. Alam alam meaning like for me that sounds like I know or something, or inform something. But anyways, I love that this section kind of talked about women's tattoos as spiritual function, as protection, as like beautifying, sort of like letting these men know, like, yeah, I'm fertile, I'm ready, and I'm also divinely guided and protected, kind of thing. And the section also kind of discusses how the tattoos are medicinal. So they also cite how tattoos were found in natural mummies. So I mean, this isn't new to the world. It's just been demonized. But the point is, tattoos were ways to draw or protect women or people in general from evil spirits or sorcery or whatever. And so I was like, dang, like I want to put it, because I have, a condition. I was like, I want to put on this body part, or this organ space.
You should.
Yeah.
There's a oh man. Like, so along the lines of, it's not necessarily like batok, like cultural, but there are spirit tattooers, like people who do spirit tattoos, who they'll meet with you, they'll meditate, they'll like talk to your guides, and then from there they will create something for you, like with an intention in it, and then tattoo it on your body. So
yeah, sis, because I'm on this mission to heal myself from, it's kidneys, which I'll share it. And the kidneys are part of filtration and detoxification in the body. And so I wonder, ancestrally, my, ancestors were holding on to that toxicity, that dis-ease, and it landed in me. And I'm like, hello, well, can I get a tat? I want to be free. So that would be dope though. If I got to, divine willing, sat with Manong Lane, and I'd be surprised. I don't know if he'll ever listen to this, but I'll be surprised. Actually, I won't be surprised, but I'll be like, oh shit. Like if he landed on doing my back or something,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you won't tell him because you can't tell him. Like he figures it out. Yeah.
Right.
in teamwork with your ancestors. But I'm gonna get my batok. I feel like it might be this year.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 40 this year, so.
Oh.
Yeah, I know I don't look it right.
Not at all. Not a day. Excuse my dog, y'all.
I look like your ate, not your tita. Oh, all the titas are at the party are like, call me ate.
I know we're heading into that. It's like a nuanced generation. Like, should I be called ate or tita?
I don't know. Whatever. Just call me Imi. That's fine with me. So,
anyways, just to kind of wrap it up, yeah, the Ling Lingao just to kind of open it up for me about how these tattoos were for the beautification and to the body and increase attractiveness to the opposite sex and fertility. So, and interestingly, they said that not only is it like practice for giving birth because I'm the pain levels, you know what I'm saying, but this line says that the Ilubo people of Kalinga said that a woman who refused to be tattooed was barren.
Ooh.
So right, that's what I said when I read it. I was like, ooh, because I have love again. Everyone's sovereign; they get to decide what they want, but have had like some really close friends who are just like, you got another tat, and they're tattoo-less, and it's just feeling judged.
Yeah.
And I want now that I'm like, ooh, this is acquired knowledge. I'll be like,
Yeah. It's just you felt called to get tattoos because that's our ancestors were painted. Like there's on 98 they said that like the colonizers were like, why when foreigners asked the people to stop tattooing, the response was, we have to or we're gonna be naked. So they even saw tattoos as a form of adornment, as like just like clothes or something. So it's just naturally what it was.
And let's be real, like it, I'm not tooting my horn, but like when tats attract a certain people, like ooh, like tatted, like my partner's like, ooh, that girl tatted, like, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
He's tatted too, so, and I like it, that's attractive to me. So I'm like, ooh,
I think it's badass. I think it looks badass.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. It's art.
Yeah, it's art, and it's interesting that we're talking about tattoos and like women. But I've heard from several tattoo artists that women, we can take tattoos where men will have to take a lot of breaks, but women will just be like, fucking tattoo me on my ribs for 3 hours. I'm fine.
Right.
Where men are like, I need a break.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny because we were literally talking about this the other day too. He had said like, yeah, just taking a break, it just makes it more painful. And I'm like, because when I got my snake chat, like even my artist, he was like, I'm surprised you never told me to stop. Because I was like, well, I was already in pain. I was very numb to it at some point. I'm like, we're already here. Like, let's just keep going, So,
I think that's a woman thing. I honestly think that's a woman thing.
Yeah, because we got portals and we push human beings out of it. So
right.
You have. So it's just like tattoos. Yeah.
All right. Do you feel complete, sissy?
I do. I love this topic today so much.
Me too.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
quotes. Here we go to quotes. All right. So my quote is technically from page 93. So like we were speaking about, the men had to perform acts of bravery and strength in order to earn their tattoos, and one of those things was head hunting. Okay. And so Manong Lane actually says the act of taking a human life is a difficult concept to stomach from our modern paradigms. And that's so true, right? Because that's intense.
Right.
And even when I teach Kali, like I'm like, oh, this is a spiritual practice. But when I explain what we're doing and what, like, originally why people would do a certain strike, like it's literally violent. It's violent, right?
Yeah.
But so there is a perspective on headhunting that is offered by Robert McKinley. He says, what is important is that headhunters bring the head back to the village, speak to it, give it food offerings, and offer it friendship. the head is central because of the face, which makes it a personal social relationship. Headhunting rituals thus internalize the enemy as friend and humanize him, which McKinley contrasts to our anonymous modern warfare that allows us to forget that our enemies have faces and names. So, and then Manong Lane goes on to say that in some Philippine societies, a human sacrifice, i.e., headhunting, secured the spiritual power for a village by honoring the spirit of the victim through a feast celebration. And then the spirit becomes a helpful entity towards the village. So, in our modern thinking, it's hard for me. I'll speak for myself. It was hard to reconcile like the violence of our ancestors, headhunting, like using all of these Kali moves.
Right.
For it was violent, y'all,
Right,
right?
right.
It was bloody.
They went to go literally out on a mission to find a head.
Right. But to hear that, like, this, it was actually a very spiritual ritual that brought honor to the village and also to the person they headhunted. Like that,
Yeah.
like they wanted to do that to humanize that person and to bring respect to that person and to remember that person as a human. And then for Robert McKinley to say that's contrast today to our modern warfare, where it allows for us to forget that our enemies, quote unquote enemies, have faces and names and are human. So it's actually, it's like, so like I was taught like, okay, headhunting, that's like primitive. It's like, what is that word? It's just like, not pagan, but yeah, primitive, right? But actually it's humanizing, right? Like it brings more, I don't know.
Like it's honorable instead of dishonorable.
Yes, exactly. Because they were like, oh, your ancestors were violent, just like beheading everybody for no reason. It was like, no, there's actually a very deep spiritual reason.
Yeah. And it was, sorry.
No, no, I'm good.
The canal, that's what the festival was called. Like they even considered the head like a family member because it supported them in terms of like what she meant is like brought fertility to the animals, the crops, and the people in the village. And what was really fascinating to me is on the same page 93, they talked about the process. Like the man had to go search for the head and rely on what they called a nito.
Yeah.
So animal represent like spirits, like the snake or the bird, to guide them in the direction where this head is supposed to be. So it was very much like not like you just go out and like, yeah, I'm going to kill this person. Like, no, like it's divinely guided. And the person who was the headhunter was very skillful in like paying attention to the elements, the animals, the wind, So, yeah.
It's beautiful.
And that for me, like, is like, there's the colonized side that's like, but but it's like, okay, but this was part of the Philippines. Like, this is what they did. So,
yeah. And so the colonized Western part is like, oh my gosh, how violent and how primitive. But yet, the way we do warfare these days, isn't that not dehumanizing?
Yeah. And so, okay, really quick.
Yeah,
let's go. My mind, I don't know if people have watched the latest Dune, the movie.
Oh, yeah. I haven't watched it, but I'm reading through the series. Okay, go.
It's very, well, I didn't read the series. Yeah, there's levels. And so guy got challenged to fight. And the mother was in the, part of she was there. And she was just like, he's just a boy. But it was like a way to like initiate like men having that, the word coming through is valor, but I don't know if that's right contextually. conceptually. But yeah, so that's why like men having to earn, right? Because it's like a man thing that you have to like get over some type of like, I don't know, sis. This is, I feel like this could go on tangents for days, but like men had to prove that they have that in them to like kill, but
Yeah.
also do it in an honorable way. Like,
Yeah.
this is to bring honor to my village, and we're also going to honor this spirit. So it's almost like the best way to kill, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, that's also how a lot of indigenous people treated killing animals for food. They would hunt a
And think
deer.
of,
Yeah, and then be like, "Thank you for your sacrifice."
yeah.
And
Whereas
so,
now, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead. Yeah, we're tracking on the same thing. We're just like, it's just cattle in a farm, right?
Fed hella shit, mass produced. Do we even say grace and thank you when we eat that stuff?
Exactly. So really, all the things that we've been taught, like our ancestral ways, are primitive and awful and just inhumane. It's like, no, actually, modern things are more inhumane
Humane. Come
because
on.
there's no connection. There's
Right.
no kapwa. There's no remembrance that I am this deer that I just hunted for myself and the deer is me, right? There's no remembrance that the enemy
Right.
that I just killed is me. And maybe if we remember that, we wouldn't be in so many wars. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
That's kind of the spiritual dialogue around why people are the way that we are, like
Yeah.
societally wise. We're just disconnected from the land and
Yes. Yeah.
and ourselves essentially, because
Mhm.
we are part of the land. Like, we die and go back to the
Yeah.
land, like, so
Yeah.
it's crazy.
So for
Yeah.
me, that was like, definitely an eye opener and just a way to reconcile intellectually for me, because I knew it that there were reasons, but
Right.
it helped me intellectually understand the spiritual reasoning behind it. So
Right.
um so yeah, it's it's also like in Sacred Kali, I talk a lot about like the healer warrior balance. I talk about like a lot of the combat and intuition balance. And I'm like, no wonder it just, again, with like reading about the Babaylan going into
Mhm.
battle, and you and I were both like, I knew it. I was like, oh my gosh, I knew it. This makes total sense. So
Yeah.
the warrior is coming back to heal his community. Like,
Mm,
I understand what I did. I took a life. Now we're going to remember that I took a life, and we're going to like honor this person, right? So that's super spiritual. And then also like how they have to go into the woods, or not the woods, but like into nature, and like look look for signs and stuff. That's
right.
intuition. That's like the warrior. That's
Right.
like combat and intuition together. So it was
Skill.
it
Yeah.
was really resonating. That's why it really resonated with me. So
Hmm. Perspective.
mhm.
That'd be a really interesting story, because I want to know what, like, imagine if that was like your husband or your wife, like, or your kid. Like,
Yeah.
what would that, I wonder, like, is there ceremony that they had when because they bring the head back into their village and they'd honor them, but like, what happens to the family? Like, are they invited to the like, how does that work? Like,
I don't
because
know.
we talking about like, we're already here, killing for
Right.
honorable discharge. Like,
Right.
is the family invited? Like, you killed my husband. Like, you gonna feed me now? Like, is your village gonna take care of us? You gonna protect us because you took our protector
Maybe.
physically? You
Maybe.
know,
Yeah. Very
I wonder.
interesting.
That'd be an interesting story.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay. Well, I am complete in that, sissy sis.
yay. Okay, I'm glad you brought that word in, or that part. So I guess mine will kind of round out as we close out the quotes piece, because it's on page 103, which is towards the end of the chapter. And I really liked how Manong Lane kind of just brought it home when he said, on page 103. In our modern world, fraught with globalization and vapid departure from indigenous paradigms, many Filipinos have received contemporary tattoos for any number of the contemporary reasons that accompany them. It is my hope that through this writing, many of you, my kindred and family, will be inspired to seek what our culture has already richly practiced for thousands of years. Perhaps in your desire to become tattooed, you will seek first to instill those character traits our ancestors valued so highly in the past. Once these have been tattooed upon your soul, then will the unseen guidance represented by the tattoos placed on your skin be a shining compass through this world and the next. Your tattoos will serve as, I'm getting goosebumps.
Me too.
Your tattoos will serve as an inspiration to all those around you to strive for the qualities that you possess, a modern Filipino fortified by our indigenous heritage.
Woo! Yes.
And here's a cool little picture of this is a Buntuk warrior. Hey.
Hey.
He's proud. That's my type of chest tat, okay? But yeah, I love the words of like vapid departure from indigenous paradigms, like because it has become, respect to the tattoo artists, but like I wonder if they're in touch with the indigenous practices of it. Like they're not just doing it for, oh, I can make money off this,
right.
like, or this. Also, if they love to draw, I get it, but like, are they connecting to the deep spiritual meaning of ingraining this ink into someone's skin? And
right. Yeah, I mean, in the beginning of the chapter, Manong Lane touches on the fact that remember back in like I think the late 90s and early 2000s, everyone was getting those tribal tattoos, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's a very specific style that was imitated from Polynesian ancestry, like their markings and stuff. So but like I guess I'll speak for myself. I know a whole bunch of white guys that have like the tribal tattoo band around their place. So
cultural appropriation is it's a colonized disease, y'all. Like,
but back in 2000s and stuff, like I felt that it was weird. But I didn't have the words. We weren't talking about decolonization back then in 2001. I knew in my body it was weird, and
that was your intuition.
Yeah. But I didn't know why, and now I understand why. So as the generations, as we progress, we learn things. Yep,
you learn. And yeah, I do feel like we're the part of the bridge to this great awakening that is happening. Because I mean, yeah, one of my tats is done by a white man, and I had a problem. I was like, no, I want the brown man to do me. But the majority of the rest were done by brown people. But yeah, sis. Sometimes I remember I don't forgot where I was. Some guy had like the pyramids of Africa. It was a white guy. And I was like, do you know what that means? Like, you have the Eye of Ra on you. Do you know what that means?
Right.
And it was very much like it was look tight or some shit. Like,
yeah, like if you're gonna know what it means. And that whole like late 90s, early 2000s. Oh my gosh, I'm dating myself. Oh well, I already said I was gonna be 40 this year. Like you would get the
about wisdom, sissy. Share it.
I'm tita right now. So like the white girls would get the kanji tattoos or the like Chinese writing or the Japanese.
Oh dear Lord, no, I didn't know that. Mm-mm.
Oh really? Maybe that's just an Ohio thing. Yeah, girls would be like, oh, it means wisdom, but it don't really mean wisdom. It means like fried rice or something, because they don't check.
Ew.
Because they don't check. because they're just going to,
Ew.
yeah, like
I
white
remember
tattoo artists.
I got that on like my Nokia 5190. That's how I'll tell you how old I am. But I want this on the back of my phone. It would be like love or something. My ex in high school, he got I think it was like respect on him, but he was very much like living that virtue for sure.
Okay.
He's a sheriff now. What does that mean though?
Cool.
Law enforcement respect people.
Mm.
No,
That's a different conversation.
I know.
That's
I
a
want to
whole-
believe it's both and. Yes.
That's a 3-hour podcast.
Right. like the dear, like the great, what was it? Kevin Hart said, there's good cops and bad cops. There's good people and bad people.
Yeah. It's the system. That's what we're talking about. It's the system.
Yeah.
So,
But
all right.
I feel complete.
Do you feel complete? Okay.
I
Well, this
do.
has been, wow, a really, I enjoy this conversation because I enjoy tattoos. So, thank y'all for tuning in, and comment any tattoos you have, fun tattoo stories. If you've seen Manong Lane and you have a batok and you would honor us by sharing, send us a DM. That'd be super sweet. So, all right. So as we end our conversation and close out this container with gratitude, once again, we bring recognition and honor to our ancestors and all the ancestors of the lands that we occupy. Thank you for joining our conversation today. And as always, Stephanie and I leave you with a blessing. May you be strong, brave, and a servant to the community. May you be blessed with awareness and guidance from the spiritual world. May your valued ancestral character traits be tattooed upon your heart. May community and kapwa grow in your heart. And until we meet again, may you know that all is well and will be well, and that no matter what happens, you are loved.
Yay.
That one was good. I felt it. Did you feel it? I felt it. Okay.
Yay.